Every Sunday is a kind of ritual for our family. We gather at Carol's, my mother-in-law's, cozy home in the suburbs of Chicago for dinner. I, my wife Lisa, and our children, 8-year-old Jake and 5-year-old Emma, sit down at the large oak table in the dining room. "How are you, my dears?" Carol asks, setting out plates of steaming chicken soup. "Lisa, honey, have you lost weight? You need to eat better." I smile, looking at my wife. Lisa has indeed lost a bit of weight. She joined a new fitness club, trying to watch her figure. But who can resist Carol's cooking? "Mom, come on," Lisa waves her off. "I eat fine. I just started exercising more." "Exercise is good," my mother-in-law nods approvingly. "And you, Alex, how are things? Everything okay at work?" I nod, chewing a piece of freshly baked bread. "Yes, Carol, everything's great. We launched a new project at the company, so there's more work, but it's worth it." Well done, my mother-in-law smiles, and wrinkles gather at the corners of her eyes. "The main thing is not to forget about family." "How could I forget?" I chuckle. "With these Sunday dinners and all." Everyone laughs, and the conversation smoothly flows to other topics. Jake talks about his new hobby, collecting baseball cards, and Emma boasts about learning to ride a bike without training wheels. Carol listens attentively, asks questions, and offers seconds. After dinner, we move to the living room. My mother-in-law brings out photo albums, and we start reminiscing about various stories from the past. Lisa laughs at her childhood photos, and I look with interest at pictures taken before my appearance in the family. "Oh, Alex, look at this." Carol hands me a photo. "This is Lisa in the school play. She was so charming, just a sight to behold." I look at the photo and smile. Lisa in a fairy costume does look really cute, but something in Carol's voice makes me wary. A slight note of, what? Insincerity? I brush off this thought, probably just my imagination. The day passes in the usual warm atmosphere. When we're getting ready to leave, Carol, as always, insists that we take the leftovers with us. Take it," she says, handing us containers. "You probably don't have much to eat at home, do you?" I notice Lisa slightly wince at this comment, but she immediately smiles and hugs her mother. "Thanks, Mom, you're the best." We say goodbye and drive home. On the way, I think about how lucky we are to have such a caring mother-in-law. Who would have thought that soon these thoughts would be turned upside down? A week passed. On Friday evening, I was returning home after a long work day. I decided to stop by the supermarket to buy something for dinner. Lisa was working late and the kids were at friends' houses. Passing by the fruit section, I heard a familiar voice. Carol was talking on the phone, standing behind the apple display. I was about to call out to her, but the next phrase made me freeze in place. "You can't imagine, Susan, how tired I am of these Sunday dinners," Carol was saying. "It's the same thing every time. This Alex with his stupid jokes, Lisa who can't properly watch her figure." I felt the ground slip from under my feet. Could this be the same Carol who greets us with smiles and hugs every Sunday? "And the kids? My God, these kids," she continued. "Jake does nothing but brag about his stupid cards, and Emma, well, you know who she takes after, just as clumsy as her father." I stood, unable to move. Every word hit like a slap. How could she say such things about her own grandchildren? But you know what's the worst? They actually believe I'm happy to see them. Ha! If it wasn't for Lisa, I would have stopped these visits long ago. But you know how upset she'd be if she knew the truth. I quietly stepped away, leaving my shopping behind. I sat in the car for a long time, trying to process what I'd heard. How do I tell Lisa about this? And should I tell her at all? Maybe it's better to pretend nothing happened? With a heavy heart, I drove home, realizing that now every visit to my mother-in-law would turn into real torture for me. Sunday came too quickly. All week, I couldn't find peace, replaying the overheard conversation in my head. Lisa noticed my state, but I brushed it off as work stress. Now, approaching Carol's house, I felt my palms sweating. "Alex, are you okay?" Lisa asked when I parked the car. "Yes, everything's fine," I lied, trying to smile. "Just a bit tired." Carol greeted us at the doorstep with open arms. "My dears, how glad I am to see you!" I looked at her smiling face and couldn't believe it was the same woman I had heard in the supermarket. Every gesture, every word now seemed fake to me. At the table, Carol, as usual, asked about our past week. I tried to answer briefly, afraid my voice would betray my true feelings. "Alex, dear, you're so quiet today," Carol noticed. "Would you like some more soup?" "No, thank you," I replied, trying not to meet her gaze. Lisa gave me a concerned look but said nothing. After dinner, when the kids ran off to play in the yard, Carol offered us coffee. Sitting in the living room, I watched her bustle about, setting out cups and arranging cookies. Every compliment, every smile now seemed like mockery to me. "You know," Carol suddenly said, "I'm so grateful to have you, such a wonderful family." I nearly choked on my coffee. How could she say this when just a few days ago? "Mom, you're the best," Lisa replied, hugging Carol. I looked at them and felt a lump of despair and anger growing inside me. How long could I keep this secret? A month passed. Every Sunday turned into a test for me. I tried to behave as usual, but I felt that with each time it became more and more difficult. Lisa more and more often asked what was happening to me. I joked it off or changed the subject, but I saw that she didn't believe my excuses. One evening, when the children were already asleep, Lisa sat next to me on the couch and took my hand. "Alex, I know something's wrong," she said quietly. "Please talk to me." I looked into her worried eyes and felt the lump in my throat growing bigger. I opened my mouth, ready to finally tell the truth. But at that moment, the phone rang. Lisa answered. It was Carol. "What? Mom, calm down. What happened?" Lisa listened anxiously. "Okay, we're coming right now." She turned to me. "Something happened to Mom's heart. We need to go to the hospital." We quickly got ready, leaving the kids with a neighbor. On the way to the hospital, I felt terrible. Despite everything I had learned, I didn't wish Carol harm. And now, when she was unwell, all my grievances took a back seat. At the hospital, we learned that Carol had a mild heart attack. The doctors said she would be fine, but she needed rest and care. When we were allowed to enter the ward, I saw Carol lying on the hospital bed. She looked so small and vulnerable. Lisa rushed to her, hugging and kissing her. "Mom, you scared us so much," Lisa said through tears. Carol smiled weakly. "I'm sorry for making you worry." Then she looked at me, and I saw something in her eyes that I had never noticed before. Fear? Remorse? "Alex," she said quietly, "thank you for coming." I stood, not knowing what to say or do. All my plans to tell Lisa the truth crumbled like a house of cards. How could I now destroy her relationship with her mother? A week passed after the incident with Carol. She was discharged from the hospital, and now Lisa insisted that her mother stay with us for some time. I was helping Carol settle into the guest room when she suddenly said, "Alex, we need to talk." I froze, waiting for her to continue. "I know you heard my conversation in the supermarket," she said quietly. I felt the blood drain from my face. How did you know?" Carol sighed. "I saw you then, not immediately, but when you were leaving, and from your behavior lately. I realized you had heard everything." I sat on the edge of the bed, unable to utter a word. "Alex, I don't know how to explain. Those words, I didn't mean them. Not entirely." "What did you mean, Carol?" I finally managed. "How can you not mean such things?" She shook her head. "I was upset. You know, sometimes it feels like life is passing you by, that you're no longer needed. And then you say stupid things to feel, I don't know, important, angry at the world." I looked at her, not knowing whether to believe her words. "But when I was lying in that hospital," Carol continued, "I realized how much I love all of you, and how foolish it was to say those things. Alex, I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but I'm asking for a chance to be better." I sat silently, trying to digest what I had heard. Part of me wanted to forgive Carol, to believe that she was truly remorseful. Another part still heard those poisonous words about my family. "I don't know, Carol," I finally said. "I don't know if I can ever forget what I heard." "I understand," she replied quietly, "but I will try, every day, to earn your trust again." At that moment, Lisa peeked into the room. "Is everything all right? Mom, do you need anything?" I looked at Carol, then at Lisa, and I made a decision. "Everything's fine, dear," I said. "We're just talking." Lisa smiled and left. I turned to Carol. "I won't tell Lisa what I heard, but I will be watching. And if I see that you're really changing, maybe, with time, we can start over." Carol nodded, tears glistening in her eyes. "Thank you, Alex. I won't let you down. Never again." I left the room with a heavy heart, but also with a glimmer of hope. Maybe sometimes people really can change. Maybe family ties are stronger than we think. And maybe forgiveness is not weakness, but strength. But one thing I knew for sure, the road to rebuilding trust would be long. And it starts right now. Did you like this story? Let us know in the comments what you liked. Subscribe to our storytelling podcast. Also, don't forget to like and ring the bell so you don't miss more interesting stories. See you soon.